All right, good morning. Coach Ted here with another edition of Coffee with Coach Ted. Yes, good morning. It's good to be here with you today. Seems like a gorgeous day outside here in Boston. Not too cold. Hope weather is good where you are. So today I want to talk about how you set priorities in your day-to-day activities. This can be a real challenge for those of us with ADHD, deciding what to do each day and which are the most important things to be doing each day. So what I'm going to talk about today is something called the Eisenhower Matrix. And it's called that because President Dwight D. Eisenhower was the one who created, apparently, in his role as commander-in-chief of the NATO forces prior to his becoming president. And it's also was popularized by Stephen Covey in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So, little drawing here. So this is the Eisenhower Matrix, or also known as the Urgent Important Matrix. So there are four, it's just a box with 4 quadrants. And you use this to categorize the different things you have on your to-do list. So the first thing you do, and I'll come back this minute, the first thing you do is make a list of the things that you want to get done in a day. And hopefully you've done some planning, but that's another topic I'll talk about another day, how to do weekly planning. But make a list of the things you want to accomplish in today, okay? So this matrix is urgent and versus important. So this quadrant, the upper left, is items that are urgent and important. Then over here in the upper right, we have items that are important but not urgent. Down here in the lower left, we have urgent, not important. And then over here in the lower right, we have not urgent, not important. So the first thing you do is go through your list of things for the day, and you decide which quadrant they go in. Quadrant, this is 1, 2, 3, or 4. So you decide whether this is an urgent, important task, an important, not urgent task. So let me give you some examples. Basically, urgent tasks cause us to react, right? So sometimes we have to stop what we're doing and address an issue. You get a call from the principal at the school. You're home and the baby starts crying. So you have to interrupt whatever you're doing and go take care of the baby, or deal with the principal, or do something that your boss just came over and asked you. You said, this is really important. I need this done. Okay? So that's something that's urgent. That's urgency. Okay? Important are more long-term tasks that have to do with long-term goals. It could be something with planning, or it could be just working on something that you've planned out over time needs to be done in a week or 2 weeks or whatever, but you're being very effective and efficient, and you're doing it step by step, not waiting to the last minute. Last minute is under urgency. So the important and urgent quadrant is called the crisis zone. because these are things that need to be done immediately, or there's going to be some consequences. So it could be anything from filing your taxes on time, to dealing with a medical emergency, or like I said, call for the principal or a crying baby. Okay? The important, not urgent quadrant, that's the place where you want to spend most of your time. That's the goals and planning zone. So any kind of planning you're doing, whether you're planning for the week or the month, or you're planning a big project, or even planning a small project, or you're working, as I said, you're working on something that you've planned out over time and you're doing it step by step. So that's the goals and planning zone. Quadrant 3, the urgent, not important, is the interruption zone. So these are things like the phone rings when you're in the middle of something, or you get text, or it's like emails come in and interrupt you. So these are things that somehow seem urgent because they're happening in the moment, but in fact are not very important. And they're things that you want to ignore as much as possible, or some people talk about delegating, if you're in that position, to delegate things to somebody else. Somebody who, an assistant who works for you or something like that. Or you just put them off till another time. You don't do your email as it comes in. You plan times during the day where you check your email, and you do it in a more orderly way. And then the not urgent, not important is the distraction zone. So it could be going on to spending time on Facebook, checking out your friends. Andrew, good morning. Nice to have you here. Playing video games, surfing the web, watching TV. And there's nothing wrong with these activities. It's just you have to be careful with them, because you have to make sure that you're keeping them to a moderate amount, or just enough to sort of help you relax and enjoy yourself, but they don't take over your day. Hey, Andrew. So those are the 4 quadrants, right? Where did I put it? Okay, so we have, again, urgent and important, urgent, not important, important, not urgent, urgent, not important, not urgent, not important. So you go through your list and you categorize them. What's quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4? So now you know the things you need to be spending time on. Obviously, the things that are in the so-called crisis zone need to be tended to immediately. But you want to, in terms of your life, you want to be spending as little time there as possible. So the more time you can spend in quadrant 2, hopefully the less time you can spend in quadrant 1. Again, the things, if you're planning out your projects and activities over time, and you're breaking them down into individual steps, you're planning those out so that you don't end up in the in the crisis point, like, oh my God, it's due today, I've got to get on it, adrenaline rush and all that stuff. Some of that's going to happen. It's unavoidable. But the more planning you do, the less time you're going to spend there, the more effective you're going to be. So you go through your list and you mark them 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you actually draw yourself a grid and you put them in there. So that's the big step. There is one more step, because it's likely you're going to have more than one item in each of those quadrants. So you do have to go through those and do some prioritizing within each quadrant. So even in the urgent, important section, you have to say, what's the most important thing to do first? What's going to have the biggest consequences if you don't do it? Or it could be, what's the thing you can get done the quickest? And just like, boom. Just get it done fast, check it off, and it's off the list. But you don't want to be focusing specifically on just the smallest things, but again, the most important. But you want to get out of that quadrant 1 as fast as possible and over into quadrant 2. So you're working on the things that are really important but aren't urgent. So you can do those over time and avoid going into that urgent, important quadrant as much as possible. And again, the urgent, not important quadrant, quadrant 3, then you want to get rid of those things as fast as possible. Again, if you're in a position to delegate to somebody, if not, you just have to put it off to a later time. But again, you just have to be careful of something. You don't want something down in quadrant 3, urgent, not important, when it really belongs in the urgent, important quadrant. So that's the Eisenhower matrix, or the urgent, important matrix, as it's also called. Give it a try. No, I don't like the word try. Give it a shot. Give it a trial run. Is that better? I like that better. And see how it works for you. I'd love to hear your experience. So if you give it a trial run, write a comment. What your experience is. How did it work for you? Where did you run into any issues, problems, roadblocks? What worked well? And love to hear your experience. So that's it for the topic today. Just a few other little housekeeping things. One, if you're not aware of it, I have a Facebook group called Live Fully with ADHD. I invite you to check it out and join if it seems like it's something that can be useful to you. It's a place for us to create community, get support, share with other people who, adults with ADHD, share our strength, hope, and experience, support each other. I'll post a link to the group in the comment below when we're done here. Secondly, if you'd like to connect further about this issue, get some more guidance around how to prioritize or any other issue that's going on with you you'd like to chat about, please type in #connect in a comment and I'll be in touch with you. And finally, if you're watching a replay, please type in #replay so I know you're here. So Andrew, thanks for joining me today. I haven't seen your name in a while. So that's all, folks. Have a great morning, a great day, a great weekend. And I'll see you Monday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for another Coffee with Coach Ted. Take care, everybody.